it down. Hi, this is Andre. The JMK Clockstep is designed to be a master clock source that other devices can synchronize to. In this video, we're going to look at using it with the Blooper and Microcosm to get results we could not get with just those two devices alone. The Blooper does not transmit sync, it can only follow an outside clock source. The Microcosm can send and receive sync, but I wasn't able to get the Blooper to follow the Microcosm's sync tightly enough to sound good. Now I should note that I was only using the Microcosm's granular effects and not its phrase looper as a clock master in this scenario because I specifically wanted to be able to change the tempo, as will be detailed shortly. In this video, the Clockstep provides the master clock for both the Blooper and Microcosm, and they sync to that. The clock signal also goes through the Zoia before being sent to the Blooper and Microcosm, and there are a couple of reasons for that. The first is that the Blooper is very picky about where it gets its MIDI from. Some devices work fine and others don't. Sending MIDI from the Zoia always works with the Blooper, so that's the first reason to use it. The second reason for using the Zoia is that it can work as a MIDI splitter. It has a standard 1/8 inch TRS MIDI output, but it also has a separate 1/4 inch socket called the control port, which can be configured to do a wide range of different things. In this particular case, the control port is set as a MIDI output, so the Zoia takes the clock from the Clockstep and splits it between two different outputs. The 1/8 inch output feeds the Microcosm, while the control port signal is sent to the Blooper. Now, aside from providing a very solid external clock, the Clockstep also lets us play with one of the secret weapons of both the Blooper and Microcosm, which is their ability to follow tempo changes. If the MIDI clock speeds up or slows down from its original tempo, both devices will modify their playback in order to accommodate the new speed. This offers some great possibilities, including using the Blooper's time stretch function to manually beat match with the new clock tempo. This all probably sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is, so please stay tuned and thank you as always for tuning in. So the Clockstep is sending MIDI clock data into the Zoia, which is then sending it into both the Blooper and the Microcosm. If I press play on the Clockstep, then you can see that now we're getting that tempo here on the Zoia, and if we look over at the Microcosm tempo pulse, it's also locked in there. If I press stop on the Clockstep, now the Zoia is no longer receiving anything, and the tempo pulse on the Microcosm has gone back to whatever it was before it was receiving tempo. If I press play again, now we're locked in on both the Zoia and the Microcosm. So I'm going to record something into the Microcosm just to give myself kind of an audible reference, kind of a musical click track almost. The red dot on top is the downbeat of each measure, and the yellow dot underneath is each quarter note within the measure. Now I'm pressing hold on the Microcosm, and the idea is that this will let me record something into the Blooper that is completely synchronized with the timing. I'm going to record an empty loop first. So now we have a Blooper loop that is completely quantized to the timing of the Clockstep. I'm going to record something into the Blooper. 2, 3, 4. Undo overdub, or close overdub I should say. Now we're going to bypass the Microcosm. So now let's re-engage the Microcosm. So now you can hear the Microcosm is totally synced up with the Blooper, because they're both totally synced up with the Clockstep. If I overdub more stuff on the Blooper, 2, 3, 4. Close overdub. Gonna change algorithms on the Microcosm. And let's speed it up a bit. Let's change algorithms. Gonna overdub a little more into the Blooper. 2, 3, 4. goes overdub. And this is just the blooper by itself. And then unbypass the microcosm. Slow it down. Change the algorithm to interrupt 2. Speed up the tempo. Change the mix all the way to just microcosm, so no dry signal. Slow it way down. Slow it down even more. And bring the mix back to about 50-50. Now, let's do this. This Clockstep patch is set up to have a tap tempo, so I'm going to completely change the tap tempo just to something random, like boom, 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 boom. So first, let's bypass the microcosm and listen to just the blooper. And you can see it's re-triggering there at the downbeat. That's because if you change the tempo of the sync that the blooper is following, it will re-trigger at the downbeat of each new bar. And then if we bring the microcosm in, increase the timing and mix to just microcosm. Let's change algorithms. Let's go to an ARP algorithm. Speed it up. So we're getting a little rhythmic weirdness just because the blooper isn't totally lining up with that, because we've displaced where the audible timing is. So it's re-triggering itself. So what we're going to do is turn on the stretcher modifier and basically try and manually sync up the blooper with the downbeat, kind of like if we're manually beat matching on vinyl or something. So let's slow down a bit. Almost. Almost. That's pretty good. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's bring the microcosm back in. And you can hear that's much more rhythmically quantized because now the blooper audio is synchronized to this new clock that we tap tempoed in a little while ago. Let's go to a different algorithm. Let's go to blocks. Speed it up. Change the shape so it's a little more percussive and mix to just microcosm. Let's go to an interrupt algorithm. And let's bring the mix back to 50-50 or so. And let's go to another tempo. Let's do something really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. bypass the hologram, see where we're at. That's pretty close actually, but let's... Almost there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how that sounds with the microcosm. Change algorithms. Let's go to an ARP algorithm. Slow it down. Let's hear just the microcosm. Change the envelope. Yeah, let's bring the dry back in as well. And let's change it to something ridiculously slow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's pretty ridiculous. Bypass the microcosm. Let's see where we're at. Slow it way down. So we need to speed it up a little bit. A little more. A little more. No, I need to slow it down. I'm not much of a DJ, as you can tell. There we go, almost there. There we go. And microcosm. Let's go to interrupt. Speed it up. Oh boy. Speed it up some more. Speed it way up. Maybe a little less crazy of an algorithm.